Hello, hello. How goes it?
Hello, here we are again.
Here we are again. Exactly. Yes. So yesterday we worked on this hold button, right? And the point of this hold button is it's a special type of button, and you have to hold it a certain amount of time, and only when you hold it long enough will it actually click. And so we let me not go into there. Let's get out of mobile emulation mode. So we should see the click only if we hold it for a second or more at the moment. Sorry, excuse me. I'm really coming down with a cold. So we had a couple of problems last stream with this. One of the problems was this doesn't work so well with touch. I wonder if we should go over those again. So if I go in, if I change the zoom mode to something sensible, if we go into like touch emulation mode, we can see here. I don't know why that right clicked, but let's try that again. If we click again, it's doing the right click thing. So we get a pointer up here because the click took less than 500, we can't figure out what the time is. I think it's like 700 milliseconds. But if I click slightly longer than that, despite the fact that a right click happens, now only a right click is happening. I don't know why a right click is happening. Can you see that on the screen? You can't, can you?
Right click? No, I cannot.
It's like a long press. For some reason, my menu is up. I don't think you can see that.
I think maybe the long press is tied to the right click.
Yeah, to the right click action. Yeah. I wonder if we can prevent the fault on the cancel event as well. I'm gonna try that. This is gonna be really irritating to see because well, you can't see it, but yeah, this doesn't prevent the context menu from opening.
Oh, that's weird.
That is interesting. So that's one problem that we have, but I think we can think about the other things that we have that are problems here. One is this click event. This click event works okay, and like I can click away, mouse leave, and it's not going to trigger the click. But I think we also want different interaction modes as well, right? We want to do like keyboard interaction.
Yeah.
So should we have a look at keyboard interaction first? Excuse me.
Do we have already the mouse working?
I think the mouse works. I mean, maybe actually what would be really nice is some kind of visual notification that things are happening. So maybe we'll just like fill up the background color or something as a little thing for now.
Yeah.
Does that sound?
But then we would have to have this style outside of the component because we don't have a shadow down.
Huh. Well, we could set the style on the connected callback. Or do you think it would be worth...
That's true. That's true.
Do you think it's worth undoing, like, making this a proper, fully, like an autonomous custom element rather than a extended built-in?
Yeah, I think so. Because then we can just like have our own shadow DOM, and if we want to add more to the element, we will be able to. Especially if we want to add like some tooltip.
Okay, all right. So let's do that then. So we're gonna no longer extend from HTML button. We'll just extend from HTML element, and that's gonna mean that this lent line needs to go. But that also means we've got this lint error here, which is that we're extending HTML element, but the definition includes extends button. So either we need to extend from HTML button, or the definition must include extends ABBR. I think is not the right error there. I'm going to try that. I'm just curious to see what would happen. Yeah, that I don't know why this says ABB art. That's not right. It needs to be the HTML element no extends. Cool. So somehow this still works.
Yeah, because we are using the
Oh,
is,
we
but
use
if
yes. Yeah. So
yeah.
so this actually works even if I just single click it. So if we go to the examples index HTML, this needs to change to something like this. So why don't we just get rid of that one, and then in here we can just say hold button. Cool. Now this is not a button, or it's not styled like a button, so we probably want to give it some button styles.
Well, we can add a button inside the shadow DOM.
That's a great point, yeah. Let's do that then. So I think we want, I'm going to do what I always do, which is just have a render root, which is the shadow root. And you can use this.shadow root, but I really like to have like a private field that just determines what the existing render root is, because if you want to change it to closed, or you want to like do some other tricks with it, for example, you might want to fall back to just the inner children if shadow DOM isn't available in the browsing context, so that it still works a little bit. Render root's a really nice way to do that.
That's smart.
So we're going to say this.render root is this.attach shadow mode open.
Should we also delegate focus?
Should we delegate focus? Yes. How do we delegate focus? That's interesting.
I think that it's just like delegate focus when you're creating the shadow, the attached shadow.
Oh, like an option. Like, oh yeah, wow.
Yeah.
True.
It's because otherwise we would have to require the user to use focus in and focus out instead of focus and blur.
Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever seen this option before. Which
if I'm not right.
So when set to true, specifies that it mitigates the custom element issues around focusability. When non-focusable part of the shadow DOM is clicked, the first focusable part is given focus, and the shadow host is given any available focus styling. That's super interesting. I was aware of slot assignment, and I'm aware of mode, of course, but I don't think I've seen this one before. What's the support like for delegates focus?
Isn't it like supported everywhere? I think so.
Pretty
right?
much. I mean, Safari 13.1 is maybe like the most used out of these browsers, in my opinion. But like, I don't know, GitHub stopped supporting Safari 13.1. Like, you can visit GitHub on Safari 13.1, but I don't think everything's gonna work super well. It's a pretty old browser. It's like, what is that? Catalina or something, maybe even older than Macros Catalina.
Yeah, I think like 2 years ago then.
Morning, KT. Or should I use your handle? I apologize. Langerman K or Langermank? Which is it? Because there is a thing in people from Manchester often refer to themselves as Manx, and so I read that as an English person. I'm like, that's just the word Mank, Langermank. That's all right. I mean, people refer to my handle as Keith Amos, so we're both in strange areas. It's mispronunciations can happen. This is the problem with handles and names in general, I guess. I've lost the entire thread on this now. What were we doing? We were
we were adding the button to the shadow DOM.
Right. So we want to say render root.innerHTML. I'm gonna do this little trick that I like to do. Const HTML equals string.raw, and then this will give me syntax highlighting because my editor knows HTML as a tag template function. So we're gonna add a button.
Then a slot.
Oh yeah, with a slot right inside it. Nice. Because then everything that you put inside the direct descendants will just be reflected into the button. So even if I put like span like this, this works. That's really cool.
Nice.
I think we'll keep it black text though. Okay, so we've got the button. The click events still work because they bubble, right? So we can see that. And the focus, like you say, the focus seems to be okay, which is great. What I might do is just add an A with a href of a hash, first focusable element, and then this is a little technique I like to use. I don't know what when testing focus. If you have these two elements, then you can figure out where your focus zones are, because it's a little tricky because it will pop in and out of the browser. But this way, you can see very much that like focus is working well.
I like that technique. I'm going to start using it.
Yeah. I think on our like storybook style implementations, we have some of this stuff. At GitHub, but yeah, it's cool. So focus works well. I'm gonna go and cough. Oh no, I need to change my audio levels. One moment again, please. Okay. So what are we thinking? So we're going to
let's add the feedback.
Yes. How do you think you want to add a feedback? Should we just like wrap this in a div, or
we can just change, like we can animate the background of the button.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, let's do that. So I guess let's add a style tag.
Yes.
And we can say button animation, I guess.
Well, it has to be clicked, right? So it would be when the button has the active pseudo class, then we add the animation. So let's just create the background first, and then we can animate the background when we have the active pseudo class.
Well, should we do it on this? Should we just do it on the button right away?
Yeah. Well, we can allow support for like a background color, but then the background image will be ours. Because what I'm thinking is, if we have a gradient that has like a part that's just like I don't know, a black color with a transparency,
like a linear gradient.
Yeah.
And you're saying like black.
So RGBA.
Yeah.
0, 0, 0, then point. Yeah, that's good. And then it starts at the 0% and goes to the 50%.
Okay.
Now we can have like a second part that's just transparent and starts at 50% and goes to 100.
Okay. I need a semicolon there. Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got this like 3D style.
Yeah, but the problem is that we want to animate that, so it should have it should be double the size in the Y position. If we want to make the button animate from bottom to top, right? We can also make from left to right.
Yeah.
Which one do you think it's better?
I mean, I like bottom to top. If we do bottom to top, I wouldn't mind adding a bit more padding so we can see it a bit better. Okay. So let's add. Is it padding block? Let's add 2 rem. Whoa, maybe not that much. Like that. That's good, right?
Okay. So now we need to do background size.
Background size.
And the width and height, so 100% to 100%.
Okay. Right. Okay, yeah, cool. So this just looks like a regular button now. Oh, I see where you're going with this. So because this is like transparent, the background color falls through. But then like, so whatever we have here, which is this like semi-transparent black, will be, so we're going to animate the background size, I guess.
Yeah, let's create an animation then.
Yeah, good idea. Activate. Can I just say like 1 second? Well, I guess we want to make that. Well, let's keep it at 1 second for now.
Yeah, we can have like a CSS variable.
I really. Oh, it's keyframes, isn't it?
Keyframes.
We're back in this realm of CSS that I am just terrible at.
It has to have the name, the activate name.
Right.
And then from background position Y.
From background position Y, like this, or
yeah,
and
yes,
then 0%.
Because we just want to scroll in the Y axis.
Right.
Otherwise, it would scroll like X and Y, and it would be like a really weird effect.
Yeah. Oh yeah, cool. This works real nice.
We need to also change the animation fill mode to be forwards.
Okay, animation fill mode to be forwards.
Yeah, because we want, once it's done, we want to hold it with the new position. Otherwise, it would reset it to.
What are the options here then for this? Because this is new to me as well. This animation fill mode.
Yeah, it can be backwards. Can be both. Yeah.
What does
the
this
initial
do?
one, it would just like execute the animation. Once it's done, it would reset to the initial frame.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And so forwards kind of resets to the last frame, I guess.
Yeah, it holds the last frame.
Yeah, that's cool. Okay, cool. So we got it filling up. So then I guess all we need to do, we could move this. So like button.activate.
Yeah, it could be a class. Can we try the pseudo class first?
Like
semicolon active.
Active.
I think that's it, right?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Because then we don't have to do any JavaScript or anything to manipulate the classes.
Yes.
That's really cool. I like that. Okay. So I guess the last thing we want to do. Sorry, excuse me. Can we do this? Can we say 1,000 milliseconds? Yeah, this works. So if we can do milliseconds, then we can just say like var, like, what did we call it? Because we configured this as activation delay. So we could say var activation delay.
Yeah. Falling back to 1,000 milliseconds or whatever.
What would be really nice here, by the way, there's a spec for ATTR, and then this could be like, I guess this would be, whoops.
Wait, this is new to me. What is that?
Activation delay. Yeah, there's a spec that's like this. It's upcoming, so it's not out yet. But this is a potential future in our life, is like being able to use like the attribute function to get a attribute on a DOM node in CSS, which I think is super cool.
Yeah, that would make sense because it would match what we can do with width and height in the image element, for instance.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's loads of stuff that you could do like that, which would be super helpful.
Wow.
Yeah, we just gotta hope and pray.
Is it still working?
Yeah, it's still working. Yeah.
Can we add linear? Because you see, like at the end, it's just like getting slower. So.
Oh yeah, is it here? Yeah, nice. Okay, cool. I wonder, because I don't think the alert's working now. It feels like the alert isn't working. So if I hold this down, see the click. Oh look, it's not.
It's because we were querying for the button. No, inside the HTML, I think we were attaching the event to the button. Wasn't we doing that?
Yeah. You're right. So this should be hold button.
And maybe even inside our element, we were doing something similar. I don't know. I don't remember.
Well, let's see if this just works. Yeah, this works. The whole thing isn't working anymore, and I don't know why. Is it because this animation has somehow overridden this animation fill mode? Should I just put that in there?
Yes. Yeah. Well, we can also split the animation into its own like separate rules.
Oh, okay. So I guess animation name activate.
Yeah.
And then animation
duration.
Well, do we want the animate? So the animation duration should be here.
Yeah, we can set the animation entirely in the active pseudo class.
Yeah, I see.
So the animation fill mode and everything. So then makes it clear that
right. We're missing a property.
Iteration count, I guess. Should be 1.
Okay.
I know that's 1 by default, but
is it timing function linear? Is the other one we're missing?
Yes. Well. No. Oh, okay.
Great. This is working well. Okay, cool. Now we got some progress. This is cool to see. I feel like I don't want to wait a second every single time, so I'm gonna have to change this to like 500. I want to see it working as well. Oh, that didn't work.
Yeah,
at
we
all.
need to fix this.
Oh yeah, we need to. Now we want to say.
Shadow root.
I'm gonna say button is this .render root .query selected button.
Nice.
Yeah, and then I can say here this button. Oh, actually, I guess because CSS variables propagate, I could say render root.
Not style.
Style. Ah, but style isn't on a shadow root. That's the problem. So let's keep the button. Set property. Activation delay value. I guess I need the MS as well because it's
yes.
a CSS property. Doesn't exist on void. Oh, I'm not actually returning. Okay, so that's still not working for some reason. Let's see, there's the button. Query selector button.
Oh, it's not setting the style. You see the element there?
Like this one?
No, I mean inside the button. Because we're setting the style of the button, right? Should be displaying like style equals.
Oh, do you know what it is actually? I think it's because this is a setter. Actually, this needs to be in an attribute change callback, and it needs to be an observed attribute.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a mistake that I come across occasionally. But like these setters should really only just set the attribute, and they can normalize it a little bit, but they should just set the attribute, and then everything should be handled in observed attributes. So let's add let's go down here actually. Let's add attribute changed callback. We know the name is only ever going to be activation delay. Old value is going to be string or null. New value can only be string or null. We don't have to type these arguments. I just find it quite helpful to do so because it can catch some errors, you know. It's kind of the point of TypeScript, right?
Yes.
So we can say
this dot button.
Yeah, this dot button dot style dot set property activation delay. We can say new value here.
Oh, I think we need the dash in front of the activation delay.
Yes, thank you. What is this query selector error? Oh, right. Okay, so now we need to say if this render root doesn't exist, just return early. because the render route is only assigned in the connected callback.
Yes.
Okay, so we're getting no errors, but this is still not working. Now, why isn't it working?
Okay, how do we get the query selector button?
Yeah, render route query selector button. If not this render route return. I mean, the old school tricks die hard, but setting activation delay.
Maybe we need to also, what do you think about creating a method, a private method called update button style, that we can call both in the attribute changed callback and in the connected callback? Because I feel like during the connected callback, we're not doing that. I think like if you change the activation delay manually, it would work. But in the first time, we don't get the attributed changed callback, right?
It should fire. It should fire for.
But it fires before we have the render route.
That's a very good point. That's the problem. Yeah, of course. Yeah, because if we go back to here, we can see setting activation delay. Another way we can do this is with a constructible style sheet, which is a little bit fancy, and I feel like maybe trying this one out. Do you want to try that?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So you can make a style sheet, and just new CSS style sheet.
Oh, okay.
And then here, rather than setting it on the button, we change the style sheet. So we can say style. What did I call it? I did call it style sheet. So if I say style sheet replace. Oh, do you know what? This should be per instance though. So we can create this up front as well. Like this doesn't need to be in the connected callback. So I can say style sheet dot replace sync. I guess root, because it's inside the shadow DOM. I don't think it's gonna make a difference.
Shouldn't it be host then?
Well, if it's host, I mean it definitely can be host. So then we're going to add activation delay new value. Oh, we need MS as well, don't we? Also, we don't need these ticks. Okay, so we've got this style sheet, and then if I console log the style sheet, and we'll get rid of this because this is no longer dependent. Says style sheet's not defined, and that's correct because it's this hashtag style sheet.
Yeah.
So we can see this style sheet has a CSS rule. The CSS rule is host, and the CSS text is like host activation delay 500 milliseconds. So this is the full style sheet. We're just like replacing the contents each time. And then when we create the shadow route, we can say this render route adopted style sheets push this.style sheet. I think this should work. If we look at the adopted style sheets, so it's got this one, and this one is with the activation delay.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, and then so now we've got this style sheet. We don't need to shove everything in a style tag here. Like we can move this this style sheet. Like we can add this to a different style sheet as well if we wanted to. So we can say const element styles equals new CSS style sheet, and then we can say CSS element styles. What am I on about? Element styles replace sync, and then just paste the CSS in here. And then
I like this type of organization.
Yeah, it's like CSS and JS, right? All these
Yeah.
all these CSS and JS frameworks can eat their heart out. We've got real CSS and JS. And look,
This
it's
was like
like
the
the
first
syntax
time. The
highlighting
first
and
time I
stuff.
was reading the web component APIs, and they wanted to create like style and script inside
Yeah, yeah.
HTML fragment, and you could just import the HTML.
Yeah, but like, yeah, that's it. Like, it's the dream is coming true now, right? So,
Oh, I
but
like
what's
this.
really nice about this is the old way when we had the style tag in here, each style sheet is different, and like, um, sometimes the browser can be smart and figure out, oh, these two things have like identical string content, so it should be the same string, it should go in and stuff. But when you're putting it in like markup here, it can't. I don't think it does it. Um, and so there's like this duplication each time. Whereas the browser now knows that like this style sheet is just one object, and so it is actually sharing the same style sheet between all of these elements. And it also means you can do kind of, kooky stuff, like if you wanted to just replace part of this style on every element on the page, you could do. Not that we probably want to do that here, but like, so we've got these two style sheets now, right? We've got the element styles, and then we've got like the private styles, I guess. So this could be called like hold button styles, perhaps would be a better name for it than element styles. So I'll rename it. Sorry. Oh man. Cool. So this is working, and then if I go like halfway,
Nice. That's pretty
not doing
cool.
it. That's cool. Cool. Should we get keyboard working as well?
Yes. Let's do keyboard.
Because I mean, I guess we're getting.
Yeah. The problem with the keyboard is that it's going to dispatch the click every single time. It's going to be dispatch a bunch of clicks.
So it dispatches the click, but I think we never start the counter because we're only looking at pointer down. So if we just added key press, no, key down,
Key down.
and then we said or event.type is key down here.
Yeah, that's not gonna work because the key down
Oh.
is dispatched. Yeah, it's while you're holding it, it's going to be repeating because of your computer repeat key.
Yeah, okay, I see. That makes sense. So we just want to capture the first key down, or?
Yeah, so there is a property in the keyboard event called repeat. That means that if it's true, it's actually the second forward call for the key down. Yeah, that's it.
Wow. Okay, cool. I did not know that. Okay, so we can say if event type is key down and not event.repeat.
Yes.
And TypeScript.
Wait, why is it complaining? Oh, it's because we are using event.
Yeah, this should be a keyboard event.
Okay.
So let's try it. So tab, button click, body click. Cool. And it doesn't. It's not. Yeah, this is cool. I guess one kind of problem with this is like I can kind of hold this forever, right?
Yes.
What do you reckon we should do about this?
Yeah, for the keyboard, I think like once the time's up, it should just activate the button.
Do you think the same for the click? Do you think?
No, I think the click we should respect the user when they decide to release it, because that's how a normal button works. Like if we just hold a normal button for a while and then release it, then it's going to dispatch the click, and that also gives the user the ability to move the pointer away to stop the event, like if they don't want to actually click
like
the
to
button.
cancel it out. Because we
Yeah.
have that, right? So if I hold this down but I move away.
Yeah, the good thing is if we're already listening to the mouse leave, right? Inside the mouse leave, we could just reset the animation.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. How do we do that with the mouse leave though?
We would have to change the active pseudo class to an actual class that we need to manipulate. Because I don't know how to stop the active from being active. Maybe that's fine. Like that's actually how the buttons work in general, right? If you have a simple button,
let's
then
try it. Let's add a button. I guess normal button. So this now looks depressed. Not that it's unhappy, just that it's like inset. And I'm holding my mouse down and I'm outside the button, it's not flicking back. And then I can let go here and you can see it kind of, it's very subtle. I don't know if the contrast's carrying over, but my button styles are a bit weird on this operating system. But like, this is the hover state. It looks like it's kind of inset, or the button is like being pressed, and then I can move out whilst holding my cursor. So I think you're right, so we want it this way. We should adopt the depressed keyword for inset design tokens.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay,
so I feel like that's a good behavior then. Just keep as is. Yeah.
But for the keyboard, so interestingly, I guess what does the, I guess what we could do is also track the blur event, and that's how keyboard users could cancel this, which I guess already happens. Let's see. So if I tab over, I hold space, I tab out, yeah, and if I hold space, so we're getting that behavior natively. So that makes a lot of sense. I think what you're saying is like to hold the keyboard button down for as long as it takes to fill this, and then immediately dispatch the event.
Yeah. The weird thing is we have a click. Shouldn't we receive the click event once the key is down? Why is that not working?
So let me go again. So if I tap, I've stopped logging. That's part of the problem. Let's log the events again. I'll keep these ones as well. Okay, so am I also logging? I'm still logging this stuff, aren't I? Let's get rid of that. Console logs everywhere. Okay, so I clear the logs. Okay, so I focused on the hold button. If I tap space, this is what I get. I get the key down, I get the click. I see that the click happened in 63 milliseconds from my key down. And then it timed out. If I go back, clear the logs. If I hold space, I get a bunch of keyboard repeat, like the key down repeat.
Oh, the click's not being
The click gets fired.
dispatched?
The click is dispatched from the browser as a pointer event.
But once you release your key, right? It's not.
Yeah, once I release it.
Oh, is that because it's a different behavior in Firefox? Is that it?
Oh, you reckon?
You're using Chrome, right?
This is Chrome. Let me try this in
Do you have Firefox?
I don't know if I can share the Firefox screen, but I'll try it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's all good. Let's see. Firefox looks like it behaves the same. So it does a click event. It looks like it behaves the same.
Interesting. It's really interesting.
Were you expecting different?
Yeah, I was expecting the click to be dispatched while we are holding the button, but that doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, no, I think this is the right behavior. I think it's doing the right thing. Where it's like
That's
the key
fair.
down,
That
and we get the click afterwards, and then we just time it out. But we want to dispatch our own click, so we should say like else if. So I guess what might be worthwhile doing is if we have a private function that is like activate. I don't know why I put it up here. Let's put it down here. So we have this private function activate. And this could... I'm just going to dispatch an event named click. Or actually named activate. And we'll figure out the details later. And then we're going to say if event... So what I want to do actually...
we need a flag, right, to know that we are holding the key down.
I was going to say we... what we could do... I mean, the kind of... I guess one way we could do this is to say... if it's the key down... have like a timer.
Oh, we have the counter. We can just reuse the counter.
Well, I was thinking a timer that is a promise that's like, I don't care what's inside it, or null. Okay, and then if we say the timer is going to... We'll make this async. And we'll say await new promise, resolve, set timeout, and I want to say resolve this dot activation delay. Okay. Void or null is not assignable to promise void or null.
It's because you have the await there. If you want to, you need...
Yeah, that's a good point. I don't need the await. Well, I do need the await. This dot timer, and then I want to say this dot activate. So I didn't see in this mess of keyboard events. Let me...
Yeah, we need to listen to the active now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Well, let me just rename this to click.
Fair. Easier.
Much easier. Okay, cool. So I got the click, right?
But then now the mouse will behave the same, right?
It does behave the same, you're right. So this is what I'm thinking, is... because we're calling activate here, we can pass in the event type.
Oh.
And so now here we can say, well, the from is going to be either from a pointer down, or it's going to be from a key down. And then we can say if from is key down, we want to dispatch.
I see.
See, now this is working. Yeah, now this is working. And then we can kind of make this. So the reason I was doing this as well is to kind of build up to something else, which is.
So wait, if you just hold for a while with your key.
With my keyboard. like this.
Yeah. Yeah, without activating it, would it still?
It still would. Yeah, you're totally right.
Yeah, we need to clear interval.
Yeah, we need to clear this promise somehow, right?
Yeah, maybe we need to just fail that promise.
Yeah, so we could reject the promise. We could turn this into like a promise race, or we could null this out, and then in the activate function we can check whether or not this is null. So like on the so I think on the
what do you think about not using a promise? I don't know where you're going with this, but just having the set timeout, wrapping the activate, and then if we stop the key down, if we have the key up, we just clear the interval.
Yeah, we can do that. It's kind of the same thing, I guess. I guess the set timeout's a little clearer, but I think this. I feel like this is because I had a couple of. I mean, one thing I was thinking about with this is that we could.
Oh yeah, we can use a board controller.
We could use a board controller. Yeah, a board controller would be nice as well. I wonder if we just made a little like a. Oh wait, isn't there a timer? There's like an abort signal timer, I'm pretty sure. Is it abort signal.timeout? Abort signal timeout. Yeah, we could use something like this.
Oh, I like that.
But I guess that's not. We almost want the opposite of that. we want a timer, but we want to be able to abort the timer. This is this game really complex. Nojo says there's a timeout for abort control. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we could. I want to just kind of think about this as a concept of what we want. Yeah, it turns out the interactive elements, trying to capture everything in terms of interactivity can get really complex, especially when you get into like affordances of accessibility and stuff. Like thinking about how users would typically interact with these things, with stuff like, you know, how they interact with normal button presses can get really complicated really fast. And we haven't even gone back to this touch event issue.
Yes.
I'm thinking about that as well in this regard, right? Like, how do we? Is there a way that we can like dispatch a click event from a touch event as well? Anyways, we'll think about that later. But we almost want like this concept. I think we want a new concept detached from the custom element. I think we want a timer that can then be cancelled, and that exists. It's called set timeout, but set timeout is kind of a really gross API. So I'm wondering if we just had like a I mean, we can use set timeout, I guess, but it's just, it sucks, right? It's really bad. But like, if we internalized the concepts and like used abort signals, we could have a timer that takes a number of milliseconds, and it takes a signal, which is an abort signal, and then we can just say like const timer ID, if I can spell timer ID. Set timeout. Oh, and we want to return a new promise here. And we'll have the resolve, and we'll have the reject. We're going to say set timeout resolve ms, and then we can also say signal.add event listener abort. Is it abort or is it aborted?
Good question.
Clear timeout. timer ID. But this then means that this is never going to resolve. And so what we want to also do is we want to say is aborted. Nojo says, thank you very much. So aborted. And we get a reason in here, I'm pretty sure, don't we? Or is it event? Is it event.reason? MDN abort signal. Oh, it's just signal.reason. So we can say reject new error signal.reason. So now we've got like a timer that uses promises. Event target reason. Let's do that instead. Event.target.reason. Thanks, Nojo. Possibly null because this is a... What is this? Is this a special type of event?
Oh.
Oh, I guess event target. It doesn't know what event target is. As abort signal. I mean, I guess we've got it in scope, so we can just call it signal. Don't think, Nojo, you don't think that the event target is the signal? It's just an irregular event. Well, if I type it as abort signal, I get rid of the error. Let's actually find out what it is. If I do abort signal dot timeout 1, this is like an already aborted signal. If I say add event listener aborted, that's not log. Is that really gonna?
Yeah, it's the generic event event type.
It is just a generic event type.
Yep.
Well, the event target, if it, presumably internally, signal calls dispatch event, so it'll be like signal.dispatch event, and then it'll be the event. Event target is always the thing that dispatched the event, so event target should be signal, and it would stand to reason that this would just be signal.reason. I think I'll keep it as signal.reason. So we're getting a bunch of squigglies now, and I think it's probably just because I've missed a bit like this. So we got this timer. We can say, so this, rather than this like wordy bunch of inline stuff, we can say a new, we can say, sorry, timer activation delay, this to activation delay. We just await that, right? And then we need a signal. Yeah. So we can, now we can have a like, let's call it activation controller. Activation controller. Yeah, Nojo's right. Using abort controller to, like, if you add a bunch of event listeners and then you just pass signal to all of them, you can just call abort controller.abort once, and it just gets rid of all of them. It's super nice. So this is an abort controller. And
it should be nullable. Yeah.
So let's make it null by the start as well. And so what we can say here is we just say this dot abort controller or this dot activation controller. I'm going to abort the old one, and then I'm going to say equals new abort controller. And then I'm also going to get the signal out from that. And then I can pass the signal straight in here. This needs to be called signal equals. So we got three things here. So we're like, if the old controller exists, abort it. If the new make a new controller and assign it to the activation controller, and this way, like if you do the repeat, then this one will be aborted. and then we get the signal out as well. So this looks like a lot because there's like 2 assignments going on here, but it's just saying make a new abort controller, assign it to this .activation controller, and then get the signal out from that, and then we can pass it directly.
Yeah. Now inside the time check where we have the stop immediate propagation and prevent default, we also need to abort the controller.
Right,
so
exactly.
we restore the mouse functionality.
Right, yeah.
And then we need a key up that's going to also abort the controller.
So this should say this .activation controller .abort here. Well, I guess only if the activation delay has been exceeded.
I think that it should be done regardless, right?
Yeah, because if it's a click event, yeah.
Because then we just allow the real click event to bubble.
Yeah, that's great. And then this is cool because this then gives us the like we'll only dispatch this click event if the real click event hasn't been fired.
I think you're missing a question mark at line 88.
Yeah, you're right. Like this. Okay, let's test this out. So this still works.
Oh, it's because we don't have the key up yet.
Yeah, but this still works. That's cool. I wonder what happens if I click. So hold on. I'm gonna. Whoa, this is okay. So I'm gonna focus on the element. I'm gonna hold the spacebar and then I'm gonna click, and it restarts, which is very interesting. And then presumably, yeah. Okay, interesting. Well, let's add that. So we're gonna add what, a key up.
Yeah.
And we want to say the event.type. I'm tempted to turn this into a switch statement now because there's so many little if conditions.
We can refactor that.
But if we're just on the condition that it's a key up, we want to say do we just want to just abort? Because maybe we do. Okay, so the click's still working. This didn't work.
Well, why is that not a...
Is it key up? It is key up, isn't it?
Yeah.
I'm not even getting the event.
What?
See, I get the click event. Also, what's really weird is this click event. Which of these click events is the right one? Can we see the pointer event? Like, it is a pointer event, right? Wait, this is so confusing. I'm gonna just log this because I really want to see this bit. So that's the whole click and that timed out. If I this is really weird because so this is the events. So we get a key down event with a space.
Yes.
We then get a pointer event. We should be able to.
Yeah, that's emulated.
Right, we should be able to tell where it's from, right? Is this just owl?
So... Yeah, if you want to check,
because
you can just use pointer type. But I think if you are dispatching emulated through a keyboard, it won't have a pointer type. Oh.
Pointer type is empty string. So this is the real. This is it is trusted, and that means it's come from the browser, and I haven't manually dispatched it. Oh, it should be the abort, not aborted. That makes a ton of sense. I was thinking, because do you know what I wasn't seeing is this uncaught promise error. Now this makes a ton of sense, because so what we should also do here is try catch And then if E... is it abort error? Is it abort error? Or is it... What is this error? A signal is aborted without reason. It is a type of abort error. So if I said e.type is abort error, or if it's not an abort error, I want to rethrow it. Just in case I don't want this to swallow a bunch of errors that I don't end up knowing about. So we want to say this.
Oh, I have to drop.
Oh,
I have a meeting.
It's time anyway. I didn't realize we got there. We got there so quick. Wow. Okay, this has been 2 sessions. What do we do?
Well, it's working.
It's
right?
working, yeah. I still think I want to do more on it though, but I don't know. I mean, we'll think about it over the weekend, and maybe we'll figure out what we're going to do Monday's session. Maybe more of this, but then I've got so many more components to build. Maybe this one's just going to have to sit there for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, it's been fun.
It's been super fun. Thanks so much for hanging out again.
Sure.
It's always great to hang out, and I'll see you around, man. Enjoy your meetings.
All right. Thank you.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Enjoy, everyone. See you around.